the shape you're in. I should know, but I don't write it. One thing is for certain.
Hi again YouTube, Sumo here, back to normal. Got Rose and Lockhart, who, as you can probably see, has decided to borrow said pirate jacket from the last video that I made. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments that I've had so far about that video. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a bit of a risk, I must admit, a little bit different slightly. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about my BJD nightmare. It's something, you know, everybody worries about stuff going missing. But this was my experience. It may be very relevant to people in the UK because our postal service really does suck and it's really expensive, and there's all sorts of loopholes and things you can fall into, and nobody's got any pride in the jobs that they do, it seems, so nobody cares, nobody wants to help. But anyway, long story short, back in June last year, 2012, a girl was selling a little fee ante, and I wanted a little fee. I was involved in sort of swaps at the time, and I think it was either just before or just after I did the face up for Olush, who won my name Lockhart competition, funnily enough. Oh yes, good job I've got him in the picture. And I did the face up for her, and I really enjoyed doing a little fee face. It was just the perfect proportions. It was really enjoyable to do, so cute. And so I decided I really wanted a little fee, and plus it's easy to get clothes for, and they're a good size. They're, you know, you can handle them. They're not teeny tiny like the Pookie Pookies. But you can do a lot with them. I think they're a little bit bigger than him actually. I think, what are they, about 26 centimetres, something like that. Little Fiji OSDs. He's 20, I think. But anyway, that's beside the point. This seller had a little fee, and I happened to look to see what else she might have been selling. You know, whether there were clothes or eyes or whatever available as well. And she was selling a Slinky Nico doll, a Slinky Nico Haru. And I did a little bit of research. It was really cheap, and I did a little bit of research on that. And I had always quite liked Blue Fairy dolls anyway, and it transpired that the artist that did the Blue Fairy dolls also was doing Slinky Nico dolls as well. And I just liked the style and the feel, and it was a lot more cartoonish, a very cartoony looking doll, much more anime. And you know, I just thought, oh, I can do something with that. That would be quite nice. So I bought these two dolls. And the seller told me that she had a tracking number for TNT and gave me the tracking. It was all fine, you know, we'd been chatting and we were getting on very well, and she sent me this, excuse me, I've got really itchy nose, I'm starting to get hay fever, even though it's snowing outside, I'm getting hay fever. So I went to the TNT website, put in the tracking number, and there wasn't anything coming up, and I thought, oh, it's probably still processing, or it hasn't got to its first stage where they track it or whatever. So I left it, and I tried the next day, still nothing, went to work, came back, tried it in the evening, still nothing. I thought, that's a bit strange. So on the third day, when I still was getting nothing, I wrote back to her, and I said, the tracking number's not working, is it working your end? She said, yeah, here you go, look, and she gave me a link, and when she linked it to her version, it was actually TNT Post NL, TNT Post Netherlands. Now I tried phoning TNT, actual TNT, and they said no, we're nothing to do with TNT Post, it's a completely different company. I think it might have been a subsidiary at one point, but none of their they've got nothing to do with each other. I was like, oh crikey, okay. And she wrote back to me, this girl, and she said, it's been delivered and signed for. That's what it's reading on my tracking. I was like, oh no, it hasn't, I haven't received it, oh dear. Okay, so I left it in her hands, I think, right at the beginning, if I can remember. I thought, God, what am I going to do? So somebody has signed for it somewhere. What's going on? So I think she got in touch with them, and she told me that the UK courier for TNT Post Netherlands was HDNL. I was like, oh, okay, right. So I tried looking up HDNL, and I kept getting like Google searches and stuff saying HDNL are now part of Yodel. You know, try phoning this number. I think HDNL had a website, and there was like no customer service number. There was nothing instant to contact them on. And they had a premium rate number, which was a like really expensive number to call. So I tried phoning that. I spoke to just a customer service bot, and they were no help whatsoever. They said, oh, can't do anything, it's been signed and delivered as far as we're concerned. I'm like, no, I haven't got it, what are you going to do about it? Goes, well, it's not our problem, it's TNT Post Netherlands, you'll have to go to the seller, it's her responsibility, the usual kind of thing. So I think she didn't believe me, which is understandable. As far as she's concerned, her post office, her whole service that she's paid for, has told her that the package has been delivered and signed for, right? So I'm panicking, like, oh my God. So I ended up getting on the internet for days. Oh my God. The work I put into this, I can't tell you. But anyway, I started researching, and because HDNL and Yodel were linked together, I still tried this tracking number on various different versions at my end. And I ended up, I think what I ended up finding out was that, yes, HDNL and Yodel were all part and parcel of the same thing. They were going through a merge process. They still are. And funnily enough, I've still had a company deliver me something through HDNL. As far as they're concerned, HDNL don't exist anymore. They are part of Yodel. And yet they keep it. It's just so unorganised, I can't tell you. Anyway, I looked at Yodel. They had premium rate 08 numbers. You can't get in touch with them unless you pay, I don't know, whatever it is, 20p a minute, 30p a minute, or what have you. So I then decided to look for local Yodel depots, physically the depots that they will ship out from at various parts of the country. And I found a review forum. I can't remember what it was called. I wish I could tell you now. This is just going back so long. And they were talking about a Boreham Wood depot, and somebody, some saint somewhere, had listed all the local depots' contact numbers. So I managed to get in touch with a local Yodel depot, and they said, oh yes, we've got this tracking number, but we've got a different address for it. I was like, right, okay. And I thought, now, are they just saying this because they can't be bothered to deal with me, or what? I don't, nothing added up, and they didn't give me anything to go with. There was nothing meaty that I could get my teeth into to do with it. So I drove there. I went to the local depot. I mean, it's just so amazing that I managed to get the number. And there was a guy there who was really trying to help, but I got the feeling that his hands were tied. He's been given a line, and that's what they have to go with. They can't do anything else. And the second time I went there, he came out, his line manager came out, and the actual depot manager came out. And they came out with a slip of paper, and they said to me, right, look, this matches up with your number, doesn't it? It goes, this is the list of deliveries for that day. Your number went to this address, so obviously your tracking number has got mixed up with somebody else's parcel, so yours is still in the system. But I'm, one step ahead all the time. I memorised the address because it's only around the corner from me. It was a whole load of local addresses. And so after they left me with that story, I went away thinking, oh, yeah, I understand that. Okay, I get that. So now TNT, they've got to go through it the official way. TNT Post in the Netherlands have got to talk to Yodel and get a refund, and the claim that the girls put in, although I can't remember if she'd put it in at that stage, though. But anyway, so I went off thinking, oh, fair enough. But on my way home, I went to this address, right? I knocked on the door, and it's a little old lady in one of those really cute pink and white gingham housecoats. Really lovely. And she said, I haven't had anything delivered here for about 5 years. It's that kind of thing. She was in her 80s. She's not going to be ordering stuff off the internet. It's the last thing she's going to be doing. So, although I'm not judging, but you know what I mean. She didn't, I believed her. Oh my God, there was no way you couldn't believe this little lady. And it had so obviously been a lie from Yodel. They were just making it up, and they'd been 15 minutes when I'd been waiting for them to all come up into the customer service area. they'd obviously been making up this sheet and printed it off. But what gets me is everything on that list had been delivered and signed for. So in the end I decided, well, the driver, he'd obviously tried to deliver it, or he'd gone to the wrong address, couldn't be bothered with it. He drove to the area where this woman is, signed it himself and got rid of it somehow. Either he's given it to somebody signed for it illegally, or he just scribbled it and chucked it over a fence. Who knows? It's never come up. She never got them returned, and I've never received them. So that was all that back there. So then I got back in touch with her and I said, look, are you doing anything? I'm doing all the donkey work here. Can you please just, reassure me that something's happening your end as well? Because I'm, X amount of money down. And she sort of said a similar thing. I said, yeah, but you owe me a refund. It's your responsibility to refund me. It's not my responsibility to try and find out where the money is so you get a refund and then you can give me the money if you feel like it. So I had all that issue and ethics to deal with as well. But at the same time I understand her point of view. She wants the reassurance that there's going to be a refund for her before she gives me my money back. But anyway, she had put in a claim, right? And so on top of all of this, get this, she just sat there saying, they've told me that the claim's going through, it's going to take up to 3 months, there's nothing more they can do. So I said, sod that, of course there's something more they can do, they're just telling you what you want to hear. So I tried phoning them. I got put through to customer services, that was fine, it was premium rate, and what really annoys me is that I had to, she gave me a number for their website, but it didn't work from England, it was just for local use. So I had to phone international directory inquiries here in order to phone Holland, to talk to somebody who was almost as unhelpful as the original person I'd phoned at Yodel. And that call alone had cost me £16, which is like, what's that, $22, $23. So the second time I had to call Denmark to find out what was going on, I phoned normal inquiries, and I said, can you find me a bog standard number, a backdoor number, a number to a department of TNT Post and Netherlands that's not premium rate, that is like an internal, anything that's not one of their premium rate numbers. And this one was really helpful, she did. And I spoke to media relations in the end in Holland. Thank God everybody speaks English, because I would have been on the phone to Dutch friends and trying to get them to do it for me. I can't even think about that. And she was really, really understanding, totally helpful. I actually started emailing her, and I was copying in the original seller, on these emails as well, saying that, we've got to get this sorted. If your company isn't going to sort this, I'm going to be taking legal action, blah, 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 blah. Bit of a threat here and there to get a fire up somebody's arse to do something about this, because this was 7 months by this point. And as it transpired, they had lost the girl's original claim for a refund and so had to do the claim again. I was like, that's not going to take another 3 months, is it? This is really going to have to hurry up now, because meanwhile I've got debts building up and things I've got to pay for and all sorts. I had managed to get through to them. She had to put in a second claim, and eventually they told her that the refund would get into her account by week 5, I think it was, of this year. And so, and she said to me, and so you'll get the money by the end of week 6 after it's completed through PayPal, and after it's, from her bank account into PayPal, and she knows it's all there. And then got to week 10, week 9 or something, and I'm like, okay, so you've got the money, it's like a big tease, what are you doing to me? I'm so stressed about this whole thing, can you please just give me the refund? She says, oh, I'm really sorry, I work for an air company, I've been in Africa for 10 days. I'm like, why didn't you tell me at the beginning? So, the long and the short of it is, I got the money. There was a bit of an issue where she just sent it to me, and she'd sent it as a transaction through her phone as a business transaction, so I got charged and I had to pay the currency, and I was at like £20 down on what I should have had. I said, no, look, I've gone this far, I'm not going to lose £20 at the last hurdle. So I sent it back to her, which was a joy in itself. And then once she got it all, she sent it all properly to me, the exact amount that I'd paid right at the beginning, and I got my money So, as you can understand, if you have been a subscriber for a while, and every now and then I say, I must tell you my epic story. One day I'm going to tell you my epic story. I'm over it. The stress is gone. I'm not angry about it anymore. I've got the money back. But as you can imagine, that 9 months, that's nearly a whole year to get a refund over dolls, because postal companies are so rubbish in this country. So wherever you are watching this, please bear it in mind when you do transactions with English companies. There's usually going to be some kind of delay or expense involved at our end, because it's such a small country, there's so many millions of people in it, and the postal service is so overworked because everything is online and they're running around like blue arse flies. So understandably, a few of them are going to be trying to cut corners every now and again, but unfortunately it's us customers that end up taking the brunt of it. So it's all, I get every aspect of it, I understand all of it. I can see everybody's point of view, but for me that was like 9 months of, I can't afford this. I either need the dolls to be able to do something with it and maybe sell them on, or, you know, do some competitions or get some face-up practice, whatever, or I need the money. And after even 4 weeks, I needed the money. So,
as I'm standing here, I should have known.